Hello everyone, welcome to Frotela, continuing our series on what is programming. In this episode, let's see loops in programming. If you're not familiar with programming, I recommend you to check our previous episode on what is programming. I'm adding a link in the description. Now let's see what are loops. If something happens again and again, we call it as a loop. Like if a song plays again and again, we say the song is playing in a loop. We have two kinds of loops. One is conditional loop and the other one is counter loop. Repeating a certain process again and again until a condition is met is called conditional loop. Like writing the exam until we get a pass grade. And a counter loop is repeating the same process for a certain number of times, like watering 10 plants on a loop. Now let's see how can we use these loops in programming. I'm Gupta Pandiri and you're watching Frotela. In programming, we use while loops for conditional loops where we run a process by checking a condition is met. If the condition is met, we stop the loop. This is the syntax for a while loop, where we check for a condition and repeat the process until the condition fails. We use for loop for a counter loop to run a process for a certain number of times. Here is the syntax of a for loop. The for loop has three blocks, where the first block is executed before the execution of the code block. Usually, we initialize the values in the first block. In the second block, we define a condition for executing the code block, like for how many times the loop must run. The third and final block executes every time after executing the code block. In the code block, we define the process that has to be executed every time. Now let's see an example on for loop. For I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus, print watering. Here we can see, in the first block, we are initializing the value of I to 1. In the second block, we are checking for condition for how many times the loop must run. And we are specifying the loop has to run for 5 times. So we are checking the I value to be 5 to stop the loop. And in the next block, we are incrementing the value of I using I++. As the third block executes every time after executing the code block, the value of I increases every time the task has been performed, so that we can keep track on how many times the loop is getting executed. And in the code block, we are printing watering. As we are stating the condition I less than or equal to 5, so the program prints watering for 5 times. Now let's program the for and while loop. I'm opening my code editor, Visual Studio Code, and creating a file, loops.js. Assume we have to play a song for 10 times in a loop. Normally, if we have to perform the task for 10 times, we have to do it 10 times individually, like writing console.log, playing the song for 10 times, like this. But with the for loop, we can execute the single line for 10 times. Let's see how. I'm writing the for loop. Before that, we have to create a variable for initializing the initial value. Now let's create a variable where I'm writing the for loop. For I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Here, in the first block, I'm initializing the value of I. In the second block, I'm checking the condition I less than or equal to 10 is the value of I less than or equal to 10. And in the next block, I am incrementing the value of I. And in the code block, I am playing the song. Now let's execute this block of code. I am creating a HTML file and linking the JS file with a script tag to run it in the browser. And giving a heading tag h1 and writing the text loops. Let me run this with a live server. It is an extension to run the HTML files automatically in the browser. Now I'm opening the console tab to check the output. Our code was already executed. You can see 10 before the text. It means the text playing the song is printed for 10 times. Now I want to play two songs at once. So I am adding another console.log playing song 2 and making the first song song 1 and saving the file. Now you can see it is printing playing song 1 and song 2 together for 10 times. We can also check the value of I. I'm removing these songs and printing only the value of I. You can see the value of I starts from 1 and ends at 10. As we are checking the condition I less than or equal to 10 and stopping the loop. Now let's also see the while loop. Here I am creating a variable isPass and setting a value to fail. And I am writing a while loop while isPass equals fail. Here I am checking the value of isPass is equal to fail or not. So if it is fail, the loop starts executing and executes until the value changes to something else. As the result is fail, we have to write the exam again. And after writing the exam, isPass equal to prompt. What is the result now? To enter the new result. And I am saving the file. The prompt is used to take the input from the user. I am saving the file and the browser has opened a window to enter the new result. Here I am giving fail. You can see it incremented the value in the bottom. So write the exam again is printed again and I am giving the result fail again. So it is printing write the exam again and the loop is endless. As many times as we fail, we have to write the exam again and again. And here I am entering a new input called pass. So you can see it is not asking me to input anything now. So the execution of the loop has been stopped and the while loop works on a condition, but both the while loop and for loop can also be used for condition and counter, vice versa. That's all for this video. Please comment if you have any questions and we will try our best to help you out. If you find this video helpful, please share it with your friends and subscribe to us for more amazing content. Thank you for watching. Team Frotela signing off.